I welcome you all, dear learners, to our first topic in biology. Okay, so before we go any further, let us first define what this word biology is so that we can know what we're doing and what we're dealing with. Okay, so biology, they would never ask you what is the definition of biology, but it is important that we should know what biology means. So the first word bio, okay, the first word bio that you are seeing here, this word bio, it simply means life. Okay, it simply means life. And then the last word logy, it simply means study. So in other words, we can say biology is the study of life. So that's the definition we're going to use. Biology is the study of life. Okay, so we've said biology is the study of life. That's our definition. Okay, biology is the study of life. Okay, so let's follow it nicely, simple and straightforward. So biology is the study of life. Okay, so now when we say it is the study of life, this life that we are talking about, okay, this life that we are talking about, okay, there are two aspects about this life, right? So in biology, this life, it can either be a plant, so we have plant life, and we also have animal, okay? So this life can be plant life and the animal life, okay? So you have animals and the plants. So in biology, we will just be studying plants and animals, okay? Plants and animals. So biology is not difficult, okay? It is what I like to say, that biology is simply a story, and we have to follow this story from where it is starting from. So beginning today, we've started this story, and our introduction in this story is about life, okay? Biology, we are studying and trying to understand life, okay? The life of plants and animals, okay? So that is what is biology all about. We're just studying life, okay? So it's nothing difficult, nothing complicated. We're simply just trying to study life. So if I ask you a question, what is biology? You say biology is the study of life, okay? Now, how do we identify that this thing has got life, okay? So imagine you have three things, Number one, you have a tree, okay? That is a tree. Number two, you have a stone, okay? Then number three, you have a human being, okay? You have human. So between these three things that I've shown you here, which one has got life or which one is living? So first thing, the tree is living. It's a living thing. So if you didn't know, a tree is a living thing. The stone, is a stone living? No. So we say it is a non-living thing. Human beings are living things. We are living things. Okay, human beings are living things. Now, what is giving us the difference between a living thing and a non-living thing? Okay, what is the difference between the two? Okay, so the difference between the two is because of what we call the seven characteristics of living things, okay? The seven characteristics, okay? So 7 characteristics, very important. So our story has just started, okay? The 7 characteristics of living things. the 7 characteristics of living things. Our story in biology has officially started. So how do you tell? So the difference between a stone and a tree, or a stone and a human being, is because of these 7 characteristics of living things. Okay, so I understand that I'm teaching GCE students, so I'm not going to teach you like I'm teaching people in a classroom. Okay, I'll teach you so that you pass the exams. That is all we want. Okay, I'll teach you so that you pass the exams. Okay, I'm not teaching you so that you stay in class for so long. So I simplify things. I only teach you the things that are important. Okay, so the characteristics of living things here, my dear students, my dear learners. Number 1, or what we are going to do so that we memorize them quickly. We don't want to waste time. Okay, here is just about knowing what the examiners want, and we give them what they want. We pass our exams and we go. So we say this, we have a mnemonic that I want you to memorize. Okay, so studying. Okay, so I told you I'll be teaching you even how to study. Studying has got 2 aspects. Okay, 2 aspects under studying. There's what we call memorizing. Okay, memorizing, and there's what we call understanding. Okay, so you need to have both of these. You hear people say, no, don't memorize, but memorizing is very good. Okay, you have to memorize and then you add in understanding. Okay, so first thing here, I'm going to teach you how to memorize, and then I'll teach you how to understand. Okay, so we're going to begin the mnemonic. Number 1, it's called Mr. Graphic. Mr. Graphic. Okay, Mr. Graphic, or Mrs. Grain. Okay, Mr. Graphic or Mrs. Grain. So let's count the letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, okay. Then here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so here there are 9 because of I added another A. Fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, actually there should be 7, but I'll tell you why I've added the C here on this one. Okay, so the first M here and the first M here, they mean the same thing. Okay, and that is movement. So always the first question in paper 1 biology, it comes from these 7 characteristics. Okay, movement. Okay, movement. That's the M here. Also, it means movement. Okay, so all living things, they have a process by which they move. Okay, they'll never ask you to define what movement is, but I'm going to tell you, okay, what movement is. So movement is when an object changes its location. Okay, when an object changes its location. So I'm going to send you the notes. Okay, so that I'm trying to make this video short so that you don't get bored as you are learning. Okay, so movement, that is number 1. It is when an object changes its location. Okay, an object changing its location or posture. Okay, so changing location or posture. Okay, so changing what? Location or posture. So when you look at these 2 things, a tree, it can move. Okay, how does a tree move? A tree moves like this. Find that a tree, when you plant it, it's young like this, and at some point it grows to become big. So this is what we call movement in plants. So the type of movement in plants, okay, the type of movement in plant occurs with the growth. okay, occurs with growth. So you will never see a plant growing, changing. It was here today, and then you find the plant is here. They don't move like this, but their movement is due to growth, okay? So the next word, ara, which is the same word ara here, it is reproduction. Reproduction, okay? Same thing here, it is reproduction. So reproduction is very interesting. It is simply the process by which we produce our young ones. Like we human beings, the process by which we make our babies, okay? Plants also produce their young ones, okay? Their babies, okay? So movement and reproduction, okay? Then you have a G, and you have a G here, and this means growth, okay? The G there means growth, okay? So now we have another R here, and you notice here you have another R, okay? So the first one meant reproduction, the other one, number 4, will mean respiration. Okay, it will mean respiration. So number 4, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4 to mean respiration. Okay, respiration. Then after the okay, we talked about R, right? Let's go to E now. E, so that's number 5. E simply means excretion. Okay, simply means excretion. Okay, E simply means excretion. Okay, excretion. Then we go to F, which is number 6. F simply means feeding. So now you know the ECZ people, they like to confuse their learners. Okay, they like to confuse their learners. So instead of feeding here, sometimes they'll say nutrition. So that is why we made another mnemonic here, N. Okay, so number 6 here, it's the same thing, feeding, but here we are going to write it as nutrition. Because sometimes you find that ECZ, they won't say feeding, they'll say nutrition, but it's one and the same thing. So feeding simply means nutrition. That's why I gave you two mnemonics to memorize. So all of you doing biology, you must know this. Mr. Graphic, Mrs. Green, okay? So here, we missed out on 1, which is sensitivity. So that is the 7th one. So the S there simply means sensitivity. Okay, so like I said, ECZ likes to change words. So if you're just used to sensitivity, one day you'll see another word which means sensitivity. Don't be confused. So sensitivity here in this other word, which is the I, it's irritability. Okay, irritability. Okay, irritability. So irritability and sensitivity, they mean one and the same thing. Okay, and I even said I added C. So the C there, it simply means cells, and our story is about to get interesting now that we have talked of cells. Okay, so upon making this video, we have understood now the difference between something that is living and something that is non-living. Okay, so all living things, they undergo all these 7 processes. They can move, they can reproduce, they can grow. Respiration is so about what? How they get their energy. Okay, how they get their energy. How do these things get their energy? So we know that we need energy. Okay, we need energy, and this energy we need it to carry out certain activities. So when you eat your nsima, you find that upon eating your nsima, it gives you energy to do things. Okay, then excretion, we need to carry out excretion so that we can remove waste in our body. Okay, feeding, we have to eat. So when we eat the shima, we get energy from the shima. The process of getting energy from the shima is respiration. Respiration is the release of energy from food. Okay, respiration is the release of energy from food. So when I'm making this video, if you want to get the definition I'm saying, pause the video, listen to me back again. I've said respiration is the release of energy from food. Okay, growth is the permanent increase in size and mass of an organism. Reproduction is the process by which organisms reproduce their young ones. Movement is the change of location or posture by an organism. Excretion is the removal of toxic waste from the body of the organism. Feeding is the process of taking in nutrients. Irritability is the ability to respond to stimuli. Okay, to respond. So stimuli is this, to respond to stimuli. Irritability is the process or the ability to respond to stimuli. Sensitivity is the ability to respond to stimuli. These two have the same definition. Same thing, feeding and nutrition have the same definition. The process of obtaining nutrients. Then you have excretion, then you have respiration, then you have got growth, then you have got reproduction, and then you have what? Movement. Okay, so as you are watching this video, I want you to be making your own notes. Okay, because learning, you have to be making notes. As you learn, you make notes. As you learn, you make notes. So our story has just gotten interesting here, in that we have talked about cells. Okay, we have talked about what? Cells. And this is now has become interesting now. So all living things, trees, animals, anything that is living, will always have cells. Okay, will always have what? Cells. Okay, will always have cells. So I'm going to give you an exercise after this lesson. So hope you have been paying attention up to this point. We go to another story. The story of living things has just ended. Okay, and I'll ask you questions here. We start another story. So biology, let's take it as just stories that we are telling. So we now start the story of cells. Okay, cells. So we said all living things are made up of cells. Okay, so the definition for a cell, the definition for a cell, okay, the definition for a cell, my dear students, is that a cell is, okay, a cell is a functional, okay, functional basic unit. Okay, a cell is a functional basic unit of a living thing. Okay, my dear students, when I ask you what is a cell, please, this is the definition I want you to give. Whether in an ECZ exam or anywhere else, this is the definition for a cell. Is a functional basic unit of a living thing. That is a cell. Okay, it is a functional basic unit of a living thing. Okay, so what we are learning now here is very important, because you'll find these things in past papers, and we are going to look at those past papers. Is a functional basic unit of living things. Okay, So all living things. So we're going to say all living things have cells. They all have cells. Okay, all living things have cells. Okay, all living things have got cells. Okay, so two types. Now ask you, what are the two types of cells? Two types of cells. Okay, number one, we have animal cell. Number two, we have plant cell. Okay, animal cell and the plant cell. Okay, these are the two types of cells. Okay, the two types of cells. So at this point, allow me to draw examples. So what I'm drawing here is an animal cell. Okay, an animal cell. So you have a substance here, an organelle. Okay, this organelle. So biology always, my dear students, label things on one side. Okay, so this is the nucleus. Okay, this is the nucleus. Then within the nucleus you have a watery substance. This we call it cytoplasm. So look at how I'm labeling. On one side, okay, cytoplasm. Then this outer structure, this last lining, it's so this whole lining here, it is cell membrane. Okay, cell membrane. So this is an example of an animal cell. And we'll look at the functions of these things. Let's try to show you. Allow me to draw again a plant cell. So plant cell, I'm going to draw it like this. So it has got an outer layer, then it has another layer. That is the difference. It has another layer. Then that is when now it has the cytoplasm and the vacuole. So the nucleus, we put it here. Okay, so we label again on the same side. This is the nucleus. The outermost layer, it is the cell wall. Then we have the cell membrane. Okay, the cell membrane. Then you have this one here, the cytoplasm. Then you notice that there is a space here that I've left out. Okay, the space, this one here, this space, okay, this space, I'll name it here, it is called vacuole. Okay, vacuole. Okay, so these are the two types of cells, okay, in biology: animal cell and plant cell. So you notice that in a plant cell, I have labeled a lot of things, okay, but there are things here I've labeled only 3 things. Now, why have I done this? Okay, why have I done this? So we notice that here on an animal cell, you have a nucleus, okay, and okay, so you have a nucleus, and also here you have a nucleus. So you notice the two both have nucleus. Then you have cytoplasm and you have cytoplasm. So the two both have cytoplasm. You have cell membrane and you have cell membrane. The two both have cell membrane. But there are certain things that this animal cell does not have, which are what? One, it doesn't have a cell wall. Two, it doesn't have a vacuum. Okay, doesn't have a vacuum. Okay, so let's look at these things now. So a nucleus, number one. Okay, a nucleus. So a nucleus, what I want you to note, in the cell, the nucleus is the manager or the boss. Okay, this guy is the CEO. If you've been worked at a company, you know what a CEO means. He is the CEO that is giving instructions. Okay, so whenever you think of a nucleus, what should come in your mind? The boss, the CEO. Okay, so it gives instructions. Okay, the nucleus gives what? Instructions. So ever boss, the nucleus is the boss of the cell. Okay, it is the boss of the cell. Okay, is the CEO, is the one that is telling everything in the cell what should do, what should happen. Okay, that job is the nucleus. Okay, so it controls. Okay, so the nucleus, the function, if I ask what's the function of a nucleus, it controls all cell activities. That's what a boss does. He controls all the activities that is happening. You have to listen to what the boss is saying. And the boss, so both cells have a boss. We call him the nucleus. Okay, we call him the nucleus. Then, apart from the nucleus, you have two. This is cytoplasm. Okay, so cytoplasm, they both have cytoplasm. So cytoplasm, you think of a cytoplasm as an area, okay, or a place in the cell. Is a place, okay, a place where everything is happening. Okay, so like in terms of a company, the whole area where the company is, that's the nucleus. That's the nucleus. So the function, that's the cytoplasm. So the function, okay, the function of this cytoplasm, this is where all activities take place. This is where all activities take place. So the activities are taking place here in the cytoplasm. And what is controlling those activities? The boss, the nucleus. Okay. Then 3, you have the cell membrane. So cell membrane, my dear students, cell membrane, you think of it as the door. Okay, the door. This is the door or the gate. Okay, it's the door or the gate. So when you want to take anything inside here, you have the gate, the door, which is the cell membrane. Okay, so cell membrane, we say this is it is selectively permeable. It is selectively permeable, meaning it selects what should go inside the cell. So once something wants to go inside here, the door has to observe, can I take this in the cell? Okay, so it is selectively permeable. Okay, What this means that it only allows certain substances in and out of the cell. So we've said you have the boss, this guy, this is the area, and that is the door. Okay, so that's the same thing that is happening there. So the three most important things: nucleus, cell, nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane. So these three, nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane, these three are called protoplasm. If I ask you what is protoplasm, you say protoplasm is cell membrane, cytoplasm, and nucleus. Okay. So now the other thing that we didn't mention here is the cell wall, which is only found in plants. So cell wall. So cell wall, it is also a gate. It is a gate. Okay. So it is a gate. Now this gate, it doesn't have a gate man. Okay. No gate man, but it's a gate, but there's no one to control things. It doesn't have the gate man. So meaning if there is no gate man here, this means that anything can just be getting in. Anything can be getting in. That's the problem with a cell wall. It is a gate, but there's no one to control. And everything can just be going in. Okay, that's the problem with this. But the cell membrane, there is a gate man here. Or there's a doorman, a door bouncer. There's a door bouncer that is controlling things. But the cell wall, everything can go in. Okay, everything can go in. So it allows things to go in. That's the function. Allows everything. Allows everything to go in and out. Okay. Then lastly, you have the vacuole. Okay, which is the one only found also in plants. Okay, vacuole. That's the correct spelling, eh? So not this one. You're supposed to have U and then O. So vacuole. Okay, so the vacuole, this one, it is filled with the cell sap. It is filled with the cell sap. Cell sap contains water, salts, and sugars. So these are used by the plant. Okay, these are used by the plant. Okay, so I hope my students, my learners, my dear friends, you have enjoyed this first topic. So we started this story. Okay, now it's time for the exercise. Okay, it's time for the exercise. So follow this, watch the video nicely when you're seated comfortably and be writing. So if you have a question, you can always come to me as your teacher and ask me.